The man was answering nature's call, when suddenly he heard faint footsteps behind him. In a world where civilization had collapsed, where the apocalypse had erased almost everything, a group of strangers was now approaching him. At first, he didn't pay much attention. But seconds later, he turned and sprinted back to his camp. For the last 15 years, fewer than 100 people had survived worldwide. And now, right in front of him, stood an entire group of armed men holding daggers. Their intent was clear: they weren't here to make peace. Terror gripped his body, his legs trembled. Nearby, his father also heard the sound. Peeking through a crack in the wall, he saw the strangers were just meters away. Without hesitation, the old man pulled on his boots, ready to fight, no matter the odds. But the son, he stood frozen. His wife, infected and weak, lay on the bed behind him. What he didn't know was, his father had already packed essential supplies, including their last few precious pills, into a backpack. The wife tried to sit up and prepare to leave. It wasn't until the father shoved the backpack into his arms that the man snapped out of it and jumped into action. The enemies were now dangerously close. The father kicked open a wooden plank, leading the family to escape through a back exit. In a post-apocalyptic world where resources were scarce, getting caught meant death. As they ran, the man accidentally dropped the backpack. Left with no choice, the family found a hole and climbed down to hide. The father covered it with the only wooden lid, then stood alone ready to face the danger. He took down a few attackers at first, but it didn't last long. A man charged and knocked him to the ground. Despite his will to survive, he was ultimately finished off by the enemy leader. Down in the hole, the couple held their breath, silent tears streaming down their cheeks, praying the intruders would just leave. But the nightmare wasn't over. The leader scanned the area, then led his men back toward the camp. Moments later, they returned, carrying bags they had scavenged. Inside one of them was the lost backpack and the life-saving medicine. The man watched, devastated. In this world, almost everyone was infected. That medicine was their last hope to stay alive. And now it was gone. Before he could react, he saw them tie his father's body to a pole and carry it away like a trophy. The leader, walking last, suddenly stopped. He noticed the wooden plank covering the hole. The man below immediately covered his wife's mouth. As the leader bent down, ready to lift the plank, the man pressed down with all his strength, holding it in place. The stench rising from below was enough to make the leader recoil. Disgusted, he backed away, and finally left. They had just narrowly escaped death.